from the Royal Opera House. We're here live on the red carpet as the stars arrive for the BAFTA 2011 awards ceremony. Now, the best of British talent is up for awards so far, and so far we've seen the likes of Rupert Grint, Jesse Eisenberg, Mike Leigh, Tom Hooper and Hayley Steinfeld. They've all been talking to Lucy Cotter down there on the red carpet, and no doubt we'll have plenty more star-studded treats to come in the next half an hour. Another person that we've seen is Helena Bonham Carter. She was making her way down the red carpet, signing lots of autographs a little earlier on. We've got this elevated position for you on the red carpet here, and we can see the stars as they arrive. Unfortunately, for another year, the weather hasn't been too kind. There are a lot of umbrellas on show there as they battle with the elements. It was raining last year for the BAFTAs and the year before, so it seems perhaps it's becoming a bit of a regular thing here. But we've got two guests here to talk through who is coming, and we've got Lucy Yeomans, who's editor of Harper's Bazaar, and also Mark Eccleston, who's a film critic, and talk about the battle with the weather. I mean, it's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it, for the actresses?
It's just such a shame. I mean, I've never seen quite so many fur shrugs and stoles in my life. But it's a really tough call. I mean, you've gone to all this trouble. I mean, the hours and days that go in and preparation that go into this big night, and then to have to sort of shiver your way down the red carpet, it's really tough. But it's wonderful to see young actresses like Hayley Steinfeld just looking absolutely exquisite. I think she's actually in Prada now and just looks incredible, absolutely beautiful. And a little bit of sequins and a little bit of glamour just lights up the red carpet.
And we're seeing one particularly stylish dress on show there. I can't work out who that is, actually.
It's like a young Angelina Jolie, isn't it?
Angelina Jolie meets Gemma Arterton. Yeah.
A television presenter, we're being told, that's who she is, but she's standing there anyway. And I guess, is it a good way to sort of get noticed if you wear the right dress? Presumably people think you're a big star, don't they? Is that a key to it?
I think so. I think we've seen some very skimpy dresses that have, you know, revealing a lot of flesh, that have got a lot of attention. But I don't know whether it's necessarily for the right reasons. I think tonight's about the people who are nominated, and they're the ones we're all going to be looking at. But a great dress, yes, it makes fantastic impact.
And Mark, a little bit earlier on we saw James McAvoy arrive on the red carpet, actually, and the only thing I last saw him in was Romeo and Juliet, because he was one of the voices, wasn't he?
He was, yeah,
with Emily Blunt.
with Emily Blunt as well, but he won one of the Rising Stars awards some time back as well, and really kick-started a lot of kind of young British actors going into the action roles out there. He was in Wanted with Angelina Jolie, and now we're really dominating it, as I say, with Andrew Garfield and Henry Cavill as well, taking over the Superman series. So they like the young Brits, and I think he's responsible for a lot of that excitement.
Right, now the whole thing about the BAFTAs is it's a sort of, you know, a competition between Hollywood and between homegrown talent. But the big question on everyone's lips is the King's Speech going to do it? If we take a look at Best Film nominations, the King's Speech is up there. Everybody's going to be pinning their hopes that that one gets as many awards as it can, really. I mean, is it going to sweep the board? Is it possible, do you think?
It's unbelievable, really. I mean, I've been saying all along that Social Network is such an amazingly topical, fresh, young, now story. If you look at what's happened in Egypt and how the role of Facebook was involved in that, then could you come up with a better Oscar-winning film? But the momentum, and a lot of it's down to Colin Firth, that the King's Speech has picked up all the way through, in the way that something like The Queen or Atonement, which had won the BAFTAs and didn't go on to do the Oscars, is absolutely sensational. And it's down to Colin, do you think?
It's the classic British fairy tale that we love, the movie that didn't get funded, that almost never got made on a tiny budget. It's the classic fairy tale.
OK, well, let's see what Lucy Cotter is up to. She's our entertainment correspondent down there on the red carpet, speaking to the stars. Confident that he's going to walk away. I mean, he won the Golden Globe, he's won, you know, various other, he's won the Screen Actors Guild Award as well for this role. We're pretty confident that he's going to do it.
I think so, but importantly, it leaves him in a position to be able to do exactly what he wants. He's got a fan base for mainstream stuff like Bridget Jones and Mamma Mia, but if he wants to do art house stuff like A Single Man, he can. And now I think if you're looking at a leading British man, he's your guy, really. He's box office and he's a critic's favourite. So I don't know how he's pulled it off, but there he is.
And the difference about the BAFTAs is you get nominations not only for Best Film, but also for Outstanding British Film. Now, The King's Speech is in both of those categories, so there is a chance it could win both, I guess.
There is a chance, yeah, and I think that's how people felt about The Queen, but it didn't manage to do it. It's strange if it wins Best Film, obviously, but not Best British Film, because you could almost sue, couldn't you? Because you are a British film, you think I'm the best film, and I'm not sure why that category in some ways exists, where I think almost there's a need for a documentary category, really. That's what BAFTA should do next, but it's certainly, one of the best films I've seen for a very long time. And no sign of Christian Bale, by the way, who is my tip for Best Supporting Actor. Not sure why that would be. I think people would like him on the red carpet after Terminator Salvation. He's got a lot to apologise for. No, he's got a lot to be grateful for. So, hopefully he'll turn up. But,
let's talk about directors then. We haven't had much of a run through of those. Tom Hooper's chances for the King's Speech. What do you think? How do you think that will go?
I think that's probably favourite. Really, you're looking at a very nicely directed piece of work that's interested in storytelling and actors, and often directors get too fancy. I do like Danny Boyle, though, although I'm a bit critical.
Fincher is a big, that's a technically sort of brilliant movie.
Yeah, it is, but again, a piece of storytelling, just a really great story that's led by great performances. And my favourite film here of all time, probably, well, last decade, is Inception, and Christopher Nolan now going on to The Dark Knight Rises. I'm so excited about that. He is a brilliant writer, a brilliant director, and I don't know why Inception itself hasn't really kind of creamed everything. Quite frankly, have you seen it? Did you work it out?
It's brilliant. I mean, we had Marion Cotillard on our cover for it, and she was exceptional in it. I'm sad not to see her on the list of nominees, but it's one of those films that came out very, very early, and I mean, it came out last summer, so a lot of the films we're seeing now being recognised have been released in the last 2 months. They're very much in our minds.
Yeah, but he didn't get much recognition on The Dark Knight, and I think particularly the Oscars have to look at where they stand on commercially very big films that are also brilliant and not write them off, because Inception it's bright, it's intelligent, it's magic as a piece of drama, and it's a shame, it didn't get more.
And we saw him walk past. Just a short time ago, actually. And another one that we must talk about, Darren Aronofsky. Lucy spoke to him a bit earlier on the red carpet for Black Swan, and this is such an intensive piece of film, isn't it?
He's an intense man, I suspect. Do you think he's...
I think so. Anyone with that moustache has to be intense.
I like the moustache. I think that's very noble, to be honest with you. And he gets a lot out of his performance, obviously, with The Wrestler. Didn't manage to win it from Mickey Rourke at the Oscars, but he's approached ballet almost in the same gritty, grisly, visceral, bruising way. It's a movie which shows ballet to be really punishing, blood, guts and gore, and can drive you to madness. And it's a bonkers film, but it's also, at the end, so melodramatic and oddly beautiful that it leaves you speechless. It's a superb film.
And if we talk a bit wider about the whole issue of sort of, the aim of BAFTAs and this tension between representing and celebrating homegrown talent, but also giving a nod to Hollywood. I mean, do they get the balance right? Do you think maybe that they try to include the international scene a bit too much? It should be more British-based.
I mean, it is the BAFTAs. It should be as it feels tonight, quite frankly. If anything, there isn't enough British films in the best film category. And that's why, I suppose, the best film category exists. But it's a thin line. You don't kind of recognise those films, you don't get the celebrities, do you? And therefore you don't get the glamour and the money and the awards and what have you.
Great, well thank you both very much. That's Mark Epperson and Lucy Yeomans.
Thank you.
And that's all from here out on the red carpet at the BAFTAs 2011. The King's Speech up for 14 nominations this evening. It remains to be seen just how many of those they walk home with. That's all for now.